So my message to the world is that we must understand the world is very dynamic. It's not static. It evolves, it changes. So we must understand our relevance, our success, our achievement is dependent on how much we're able to evolve over time and to reinvent ourselves as entrepreneurs and as businessmen.
How can I still, being the kind of person I am with the faith that I have, set up a structure, a global structure that still aligns with my belief?
Okay. You must understand our faith life should be able to sponsor a density of clarity to what we do. In the words of the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is expected. So the world concept or definition of success is not equal with ours. So we must understand, even as businessmen, the first thing I always encourage my proteges in my coaching programs is they should be very futuristic. And if you must be able to take advantage of the opportunity that is going to be given in the future, there are certain things that must be your obsession now. Your business must reflect your values. And what are these values we're talking about? Honesty, sincerity. As I've said earlier, one of the most powerful books that influenced my mindset, my ideology, my creed is the Bible. Our challenges, our achievement are always a reflection of the knowledge we know and the one we don't know.
Yeah.
That the reflection of our knowledge and the reflection of our ignorance. So most Christians are not taught to take measurable risks. So majority of Christians are not well trained. The pains and the regret that comes with not taking decision is more dangerous than even the pains of not taking the decision.
Pain of regret.
Yeah, the pains of regret, because tomorrow you will come to a time it's gonna, I wish I'd done this yesterday. I wish I'd done that yesterday. You wish I'd done this. So every day that we wake up in the morning, I always approach it as God's given opportunity to be able to correct the mistakes of yesterday. The decision that I've not taken, the indecision I've not done, what are the exact things that I would do today that will make me improve my mistakes of yesterday? Because a lot of us in the next 10 years, our inability to be able to take decision now, we will regret it in the next 10 years.
Hey dear, welcome to Beyond the Boardroom, the podcast where we share depths of personal growth. I'm your host, Alexis Beckers, and each week I bring to you inspiring conversation with expert guests who share their insights on mindset shifts, personal development, and living your best life. So whether you are looking to elevate your career, build your charisma in leadership, or find your true purpose, this show is for you. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and share so you don't miss out on every of our amazing episode. With that said, let's dive in and go beyond just the boardroom with amazing conversations together. I want to know, what is your message to the world?
Okay, that's a very big one. What's my message? So, should I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, my message to the world is that the world is ever changing. So we must understand the dynamics of the business landscape, that our relevance in whatever industry we work is dependent on how we're able to catch up with the evolution that happened, the constant change. One thing that is constant with time is change.
Yeah.
I know it's amusing how that artificial intelligence is beginning to run faster than human.
Yeah.
So that in as much as we're trying to catch up with artificial intelligence, we're yet to be able to develop the discipline to be able to implement some of the advantage or knowledge that is being provided to us by artificial intelligence. So my message to the world is that we must understand the world is very dynamic. It's not static. It evolves, it changes. So we must understand our relevance, our success, our achievement is dependent on how much we're able to evolve over time and to reinvent ourselves as entrepreneurs and as businessmen.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. So, Manasseh, before business, who were you as a person?
Well, that's a very big question. I grew up in a business family. My mom is a seasoned entrepreneur, though she wasn't really educated like me.
No.
So, and she also learned that from my father. So from the age of 10, I've been exposed to a form of business. My mom was a tailor. My mom is in her middle 70s. She still sews.
Wow.
So right from when I was 10, 9, fashion to us or tailoring is like you playing computer games.
Yeah.
So we've been used to doing that. So
Can you sew?
yeah, I can sew.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I can sew. So but I've left that long ago because fashion needs a lot of attention that I cannot give. So there are other things that are more essential, more important to me. So
Yeah.
I grew up in that atmosphere where my mom was so much into business. She does several things. My elder sister too. So it was easy for me to be able to activate my business acumen and my business instincts. So
Yeah.
I grew up in that atmosphere. So in as much as later on when I got to encounter God, I got to get to encounter my relationship with God helped to be able to give me more clarity. I get to understand what area to major on and what to minor on. I try to major on what is major and I try to minor on what is minor and everything. So that is basically me.
Can you throw more light on that?
I can throw more light.
Yes. What you tend to measure on? What are your measures and what are your minor?
Okay, I've been around the mentorship landscape or the coaching industry for over 2 decades, for like 25 years.
Wow.
And I've discovered that one of the major problems with most gifted entrepreneurs, businessmen, is their inability to be able to decipher what aspect of their life or their gifts to be able to measure. So we see gifted people that are multi-gifted, minoring on what they should be measuring on, and measuring on what they should be minoring on.
I like that. I like that. So no, I'm so glad you mentioned that you're into the business of helping others to discover what they are supposed to be doing in terms of business. Now, as a kingdom person that you are, how can we now set up a business that reflect our values?
How can we set up business that reflect our values? Now you see, you must under that question may not be well answered if it's not approached from different perspective. Context to me is everything. Context give perspective to whatever thing we're doing. So if I'm to answer that question as an African or as a typical Nigerian, the answer we give to that question as a typical Nigerian will be different from me doing business globally. It's very, very unfortunate how that a lot of us entrepreneurs in this country or in Africa attempt doing business without having a more broader or more global perspective. So to me, I define value as an irrefutable worth, importance, or usefulness of something to someone.
Yeah.
So you must first of all understand what is your definition of value?
Oh.
Yeah.
My value will be things at which I believe in. I know for one thing I know for sure is that I am a man of God. I love the Lord.
Wow.
And I still at the same time also I still want to make money. How can I get or start up something?
Okay.
Because it looks like one of the most successful businesses around the world are things that are contrary to my belief. So how can I still, being the kind of person I am with the faith that I have, set up a structure, a global structure that still aligns with my belief?
Okay. Now you must understand our faith life should be able to sponsor a density of clarity to what we do. In the words of the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
There are several advantages we have as Christians that our faith life contribute to our clarity. Meaning that there are certain things that it will take a normal man longer time to comprehend and understand. But because of our faith life and our relationship with God, it helps us to be able to take advantage, to appropriate several benevolence given to us by God and by life itself. So we must understand that building a lot of entrepreneurs in Africa, to be very precise, if I let me narrow it down to Nigeria as a case studies, we are not futuristic in building our businesses. We are more obsessed and more concerned about the immediate. So much that hustling spirit and hustling mindset makes us to go to every length to do anything in order for we to be able to make money by all means.
Yeah.
So if it takes for we to cheat, to betray, to stab, to backbite, to be disloyal to a system that has been a benefit to us, we are willing to go to that length to ensure that we're able to achieve that. So we are not futuristic. And being futuristic in your approach to business activate a lot of indices that are principles that are involved. You must understand that the first principle for you to be able to make money as a kingdom man is not to so much have obsession for money.
But is that not what the system has?
No, the system doesn't define our ideology. The perspective of the world shouldn't be our kingdom perspective. You understand me? In the words of the Bible has been one of my most powerful business book. Scriptures like the man's life does not consist of the abundance of his possession. So most times there's nothing wrong in you thinking about money or having a very formidable or a very powerful strategy to making or attracting wealth. But there's everything wrong when certain structures are not put in place. But in your attempt to be able to make money, you are willing to be able to violate every natural or spiritual laws to the extent of betraying anyone, fighting anyone, doing anything possible in order for you to violate. So the world concept or definition of success is not equal with ours. So we must understand, even as businessmen, the first thing I always encourage my proteges in my coaching programs is they should be more concerned about, they should be very futuristic. And if you must be able to take advantage of the opportunity that is going to be given in the future, there are certain things that must be your obsession now. Money should be the least thing that motivates you, because sometimes one of the problems I've seen with these contemporary age entrepreneurs, we are so much obsessed about making so much money, so much. The things that are more important, we don't place value in it. So as a disruptive marketplace mentor or coach, what I always admonish my people, that your business must reflect your values. And what are these values we're talking about? Honesty, sincerity. As I've said earlier, one of the most powerful books that influenced my mindset, my ideology, my creed is the Bible. There's a principle in the Bible. The Bible calls it the golden principle, golden rule.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you expect them to do for you. So when you come into the business landscape or into business as an entrepreneur, you must understand that there's hardly anything you do in your relationship with people that we will not reap. So the concept of value is that you must understand what is that thing that you want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
What is that value? What is that legacy you want to be remembered for? So factors like this enables you to be able to understand the fundamental principles that you should run with as an entrepreneur. You get what I mean?
Yeah. I remember 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine, someone I know very well, meet up with me, and he asked me because I have a mastermind community, and he asked me, what am I doing? What is the end goal for me with having this community, set out community, people to educate them, to teach them about mindset growth and everything? Then he said something, am I making money? That was his question. And at that point, I felt somehow. Reason B is that, one, is it that everything, of course, for starter, it cost me money. To set up all these things cost me a lot of money. But I want to know is everything tied to money? Is everything tied to money, or is the end game for every businesses, even as a kingdom person, is there still a possibility for everything to be tied to money?
Well, everything cannot be tied to money. But it's unfortunate that this is the psychology that influences what we do in this dispensation. Everything may not. I've done events that I spent millions.
Yeah.
I've done event in Transcorp.
Yeah.
That's for free. Yeah. If I wanted the event I had, my friend was telling about tea break and everything. You were part of you were there.
Yes.
You know how much you went. I invested. A friend of mine came and he was like, he cannot do events like this for free. In fact, the event is having right now in Lagos, the gate fee is 750,000. So imagine if I'm to charge that much for my conference. So everything must not be around money. So there are several, God has a system of compensation. I've been in the mentorship space for so long. There are services I render to people for free that some of my friends are charging thousands of dollars. Now, for instance, as I said earlier, I will always make reference to the Bible. When David was killing the lion, was that any monetary compensation that was given to him? When he was killing the bear, was that any monetary compensation? But there was a time in his season that he had to make reference to him killing the lion and the bear. Yeah. So when we begin to make money our obsession, that is a reward that God gives to us. For instance, I've had the opportunity of mentoring certain people now. Like recently, I have a deal of let me for security's sake, I'll try to withhold the name of the person.
Yeah.
I'm privileged now to like give him personal coaching. And when they were submitting the profile for the work, my guys, my team put together my profile and they submitted. There are several other people that submitted to do that coaching. And that was a pass mark. And that was the same event I did without charging any money. So whatever thing we do today, it's going to be make references to. So everything must not or should not be always about money. In fact, there are opportunities I have to be able to help people or to coach or to impact people that I have to take out money from my pocket to do that. In fact, there's a particular one that I picked $1,000 just to be part of somebody's dream because I know how strategic that is. That peradventure tomorrow they begin to call, what have I done? They will make reference, oh, I've done this, I've done that. So we're in a generation where people are so obsessed about money that everything we do is always about money. Now, let me say something finally before the next question.
Yeah.
Now, I call it social capital intelligence. Is I've achieved so much building strategic relationship. In fact, one of my hobby is to be part of people's success story. So most time I always pray to God to give me the grace and wisdom to be able to discern potential, that even the person that is kind of potential is not seeing it. Every month, every year, I know a special budget I make. Every month, every year, I make budgets. I don't want to mention the figure for you that I make to strategically identify guys that are doing very well, that have certain giftings, and I be part of it. It is shocking to know that there are people that I was privileged to be part of their dream 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that today they are multi-millionaires. That if you were to work for it now, you cannot even, this is somebody's salary for a year. But because of certain kindness and how strategic you were to someone's life yesterday when it was nothing.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that everything we do must not revolve around what the immediate benefit, financial benefit.
So how do you grow? How do you grow as a man of faith?
How do I grow?
Yes, how do you grow? Because what I'm asking is, it seems like when you look at the statistics of the top 20 businesses, billionaires and what have you, you tend to find less of the Christian people, the people of faith. Why is that?
Okay, there are principles. One of the most powerful laws I have. I was not privileged to have everything put together growing up. I started learning how to read and write at the age of 17.
Wow.
Learning how to spell COME, C-O-M-E, at the age of 17. By the time I was 18, I was one of the best students in school. So, and my secret has always been I set goals.
Yeah.
I have long-term goals and short-term goals. And I break my short-term goals to 3 months. I set goals that stretch me. I spend not less than 6 hours every day in my closet to learn. I intentionally decide not to have any subscription, any, what do you call it? DSTV subscription.
Yeah.
So I have a smart TV. I spend a lot of data. I listen to conversation, seasoned entrepreneurs globally. And most of the people that have influenced me so much are not believers, are not Christians. So what I do, regardless of who is talking, even though the person is a Illuminati member, I try to bring whatever thing he is saying in the context of Bible. And I try to bring Bible in the context of what he's saying. So it may be saying something passive, it may make a very passive point. I try to bring that point to Bible, to the context of Bible. So I invest so much in personal development. Every day I have something new I do. Every week I have something new I learn. Every 3 months I normally reward myself with a luxury gift or an exclusive vacation for achieving my goals. I don't need to wait until 10 years before I will travel. Now, person will leave, now I go stay to celebrate 10 years. So I try to compensate my success on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I stretch myself. I don't get, no matter the applaud that people applaud me, I don't get carried away by it. Then number one, then one other secret is that I hang around people that challenge me. I have multi-billionaires friends. When I come around them, I've never one day asked for money. Rather, I try to identify a problem in their business or what they do and see how can I do. And on most of the cases, I even contribute money from my pocket to solve those problems. But hanging around them, there's something about the atmosphere that is being created by their mindset.
Yeah.
So, and I'm never contented. I always see reason why for me to evolve, for me to work on myself consistently. Then number 3, I try to involve myself in project that looks bigger than me, that looks impossible. The greatest problem with believers is that we like, the faith life and the faith culture has made us not to always believe that everything we do have to happen by faith. That we'll have to sit down, that after making certain prophetic declaration, an angel will appear somewhere with a bag of money, or our understanding of the concept of wealth transfer. We'll just sit down and angel will move $3 million from Dangote's account to your money, or miracle. I believe in miracles, but you see that we must understand that it takes more than that for we to build transgenerational wealth. We must learn to be accountable. We must learn to take risks. So I hang around people that have mastered the art of risk taking. I hang around impossible, difficult projects that challenge my mediocrity. So that has been my secret over the years.
And that's where I was even getting to. What do you think are some of the challenges that most Christians face when it comes to building a successful business, be it their mindset or how? Because somehow I've been taught while growing up, there are some beliefs that I had while growing up as a person in faith that at this point right now, I know that some of them are wrong, because if I have to go by the virtue of what I believe, there are some things that I might not be able to do or still do at this point. So what are some of those beliefs that some Christians have that are still holding them back in respect to having?
Now, you see, we have not been trained or taught on how to take measurable risks. Our pastors have done a fantastic work, including me. I'm talking about pastors, including me. We have done a fantastic work in teaching our people how to live by faith. But we have not trained our members, our followers, on how to take measurable risks at the right time. The consequence or the result of taking measurable risks at the right time is not the same from you taking measurable risks at the wrong time. So there is a timing that God has ordained for the manifestation of certain blessings in your life. So most of us preachers, we are the reflection, what we do and what we cannot do. Our success as Christians and failure is a reflection of the limitation that comes with certain doctrinal teachings that have been taught to us by our pastors and by our churches. We will always reflect our result, our failure, our challenges, our achievement are always a reflection of the knowledge we know and the one we don't know. That the reflection of our knowledge and the reflection of our ignorance. So most Christians are not taught to take measurable risks. We always take things by faith. There's nothing wrong with you taking things by faith. We don't take. You see, I cannot answer this question without talking about David. David had every reason to run away from Goliath. He had every reason to run away from Goliath. But you see, as soon as he was able, he understood that Goliath was the greatest opportunity given to him for him to be able to tap into success. Until David killed Goliath, he was not known globally. So our reward will always be commensurate to the problem we solve, to the strategicness of the problem we solve. So majority of Christians are not well trained. Most of the summer of faith, new Christian realities are so pamper us to be very lazy and to be very nonchalant. We are not known to be able to develop mastery in our developing our entrepreneurial skills. We always try to pick what is easy, and we start confessing the word of God. We believe everything will just fall. But you see, our reward will always be commensurate to the risks we've taken per time.
I love that, because I was having a discussion with a friend of mine last week, within this week, and we're talking about risks, whereby she mentioned that she ventured into something and the tone at which that thing has in her, whereby doing things, she went to a point in her life, she went broke. And this was for her own betterment. She went broke, she got frustrated, and a lot. No one to help and all those things. But I asked her a question. I asked her that after all of this, did you come out of it? She said, yes, I came out of this. Now, I said, that is a sign that if you can come out of what you just already came out from, it means that you can still handle other things. For me, that's how I define faith.
Wow.
Faith is how you're able to trust God in spite of everything, and you're able to come out. It means that your faith is sticking. How can, or if you're to say something now, how can most Christians exercise this faith? Because they see that faith means it's on a surface level, that, okay, I just pray to God and that's all. But you mentioned that faith is still all about taking risks. High risks to what matters to you at the right time, like you said. So how can Christians start practicing more of this faith that would drive them to high risks?
Okay, you see, that's a very deep question. Now, there is almost 90% of my achievement in the past 2 decades 90% of the decision I've taken that broke me into certain level of success, I always have not less than 101 reasons why I shouldn't take them. So when a generation people, believers will come and tell you that the Holy Spirit said they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. And when you hear that the Holy Spirit says you shouldn't, who are you to question them?
Yeah.
But 80% of the time, it's just the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
We don't want to take risks. So, and I've achieved so much with pressure or with pain that I've done with joy. Meaning that sometimes God allows you to take certain decisions to fail and fail and fail over again so that you learn lessons. So some of us, we're in a generation of people don't want to fail. They just want to hit it once and just hit the jackpot. $2 million just come. It wouldn't happen that way.
True.
So we must understand that the pains and the regret that comes with not taking decision is more dangerous than even the pains of not taking the decision.
The pain of regret.
Yeah, the pains of regret. Because tomorrow you will come to a time it's gonna, I wish I'd done this yesterday. I wish I've done that yesterday. You wish I'd done this. So every day that we wake up in the morning, I always approach it as God's giving opportunity to be able to correct the mistakes of yesterday. The decision that I've not taken, the indecision that I've not done, what are the exact thing that I would do today that will make me improve my mistakes of yesterday? Because a lot of us in the next 10 years, our inability to be able to take decision now, we will regret it in the next 10 years. So I always teach Christians that there will never be a time that you're given the privilege or you are being offered the privilege to take an important decision that will always be pleasant. There will be several reasons to be able to challenge you. In fact, when David had opportunity to kill Goliath, his brothers came and called him, you are proud, you are arrogant. And that made me to develop the principle of not discussing my big dreams with little minds. As powerful as mentorship is, mentors could be the greatest limitation to you taking certain risks, because several idea that God will give to you as an entrepreneur, your mentor would have never taken it. So I believe in mentorship very well, but trust me, most of the ideas that will change your life will question certain culture, certain norms. That even your mentor would doubt it. Are you sure you're taking this decision?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So you must understand that. You must learn to be able to take the bull at the horn. You must understand that the future, your financial future, your success is dependent on what decision you take and the one you don't take. Your success is a byproduct of the risks you take over time as an entrepreneur and as Christians.
So how can Christians, I'm referring to myself, how can Christians build tough skin in taking decisions that matters? How can they build tough skin in taking decisions that matter most to them in respect to, because what I see most time is because the high risk takers are not usually believers.
Yeah.
The high risk takers, the people on the top are not the same. So how can Christians start building that tough skin to understand that they also need to be there?
Now, I think one of the greatest problem with many, as I've said earlier, when you begin to discuss big ideas with little minds, they will give you 101 reasons why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They will consider you to be very ambitious. When David saw Goliath, they say he will kill Goliath. The brothers told him that you're ambitious. That's pride, arrogance. So the very day you begin to break certain barriers, the very day you decide to believe what God has instructed you. If God gave you an idea, nurture it, culture it, work on it, research on it, work on it. But you should also have the belief that 90% of the people you have around may not see the possibility that you see.
Yeah.
So you must train yourself to be able to be very tough-skinned by, as soon as you are convinced about the idea you're doing, as soon as you're able to sit down to do your market survey and research, as soon as you're able to understand the landscape of the industry that you're trying to take a decision on, as soon as you're able to understand the brand intelligence, you have to understand what and what to do and what to do, take the decision.
Yeah.
90% of the knowledge you need to do what you will do will not be available before you take the decision. You will learn it on the go. So one of my mindset is that continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Continuous improvement. So whatever thing you want to do, take the first step. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You will fall and you will falter. You will fall, you will falter. 90% of the successes I've done, but that God has helped me to achieve in the past 1 decade. 90% of my friends fought against it. Some of them will give me a perspective that is wonderful perspective, but if I end up doing it, I will lose the whole essence of the idea. So I first of all believe in myself. When I have an idea, I pray. If I have peace in my heart, I conduct research, I develop my strategy, I'm able to map my ideas one on one. I take the next step. You make mistake, you correct it.
Yeah.
You make mistake, you improve on it. But trust me, by the time you wake up in the next 3 years or 3 months or 2 weeks later, you discover that everything is falling into place.
Yeah. So for you, what are some of like the mindset shifts that helped you align your identity with your business vision?
My mindset shift.
Yes.
Number one, I always believe that I have something to bring to the table. No matter who is in charge, no matter who is there, I don't care. I appreciate people's gift. I appreciate their uniqueness. I appreciate people. I learn from people, but I don't try to do that at the expense of God's investment in my life. Every system I go to, I always believe that I have something to bring to the table that is irreplaceable. I have an irreplaceable value. Number two, I try to learn. I learn to be to improve on the tiniest of all idea. Every time I see people doing certain things, I question the status quo by what I call reverse engineering.
Yeah.
So when I see you doing that, I say, okay, how can I do this in this way and get a better result? So, and by so doing, that is one of the things that actually make me to also disrupt the market. You understand? So number one, number two, understand that first impression matters. When I stand where people are, I'm very careful about the things, the habit I display the most. I try to understand that whatsoever the opportunity that will be given to me tomorrow is dependent on the impression I'm able to put in the heart of people. Yeah, so when I come around people, I try to maximize more on relationship. I'm more futuristic in my relationship than so. I try to be honest. I try to be loyal. If, for instance, I get to meet someone through you, no matter the opportunity that someone is giving me, I will not accept it at the expense of my relationship with you. I will try to get to know what is the better way to relate to Mr. B, since that I got to know you are the point man, you are the contact man, that if not you, I wouldn't take that. And I've achieved so much. I've seen Christians, believers, spiritual believers, betrayed each other. Somebody you just meet through somebody, and tomorrow you delete the person's number, and you try to be loyal to this. Even the person you are trying to be loyal to him, that you met him through somebody, will be scared to introduce you to other opportunity. So I learned to understand to be very ethical. I'm very ethical. I learned to be very straightforward. I try to be very loyal. And no matter who is the person, if a deaf and dumb man open the door for me, I will come back and appreciate the deaf and dumb man for the role that God is using. We're in a generation that people can betray, they can backbite, they can backstab, even praying in tongues, doing that. And tomorrow is, and we fail to understand that God, the greatest reason why God blesses the work we do is our motive. Our motive sounds louder to God than even our business plan. So what I do is that I have ethics. I learn to be very honest. I learn to be very straightforward. I try to put myself in the person's frame of reference. If tomorrow somebody does this to me, will I like it? If tomorrow my name is mentioned here somewhere, what will I be remembered for? If tomorrow I'm not there and people are talking about, what would they remember me for? If tomorrow I woke up and will I be happy to reap exactly what I've sown doing business with this person tomorrow in my company? So those are the things that makes up my mindset. I'm not obsessed about money. In fact, there are opportunities that I see. If it will afford me, if it will cost me to take money, the last money in my account, to be able to interpret that dream for that person, I do it. Because I know whatever thing I do to him, good or bad, it's just a matter of time. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when I'm going to reap from that I've sown. So these are the mindset that really, really makes me to be able to build a futuristic business.
Now, for Christian, and I'm talking about myself, I always like using myself as reference because these are some of the challenges I once faced. Once you're trying to start up a business based on your own passion, based on what you're passionate about, the first thing you have to always think about is the money because you need money to do whatever you're doing. How can you still stay true to what God has called you or what you feel like you're called to do, even when the money is not there? Or you're not seeing it at that point? How can you not stay true to yourself?
Now you see that when I find myself in that shoe, what I do is my personal conviction. That even aside even passion, I believe that passion is not enough to make you wealthy.
Yeah.
There are things that you eventually do and research and business you eventually invest your fortune into that you're not passionate about. How can Dangote be passionate about leaking salt? I catch what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So most people, passion is very powerful, but passion is not enough reason for you to do business. So there are several things I do now that is not part of my passion. There are several things I'm passionate about that I don't major on. I told us I was sewing when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
By the time I was 13 years old, I wasn't just sewing, I was repairing sewing machine. What am I sewing now? No, because that was passion, but it cannot solve the problem of humanity.
Yeah.
And the attention that fashion needs, I don't have it. So what I do is basically my personal conviction. That's why it is going to be very frustrating if you are so obsessed about making money at the first instance.
Yeah.
I published book as an author. In fact, the first book I published, I dashed all. I gave all as complimentary copy. And I spent no less than $1 million to publish it. So tell me, if the motivation is money, will I be motivated to publish the next book?
No.
In fact, the second book I published also, I don't think I've given less than 400 copies of the book as complimentary copy. So the motivation is not, when you are obsessed about money, getting money, but you'll be frustrated. When tomorrow you wake up and things are not commensuring, they're not squaring up, you'll be discouraged. Why? Because you feel that money is the only indication that you're successful. So the first thing, you must be passionate. The second thing, you must have conviction.
Yeah.
Number three things, the three mindset you have to have, you will believe it takes time for you to build. Rome is not built in a day. Everyone that is successful in the industry takes longer time to build. Our generation are not taught to be consistent, to be resilient. We just want to hit it once and just hit the jackpot, $20 million, then we'll just travel to Bahamas and everything. It is not that. So it takes time. And your motivation shouldn't be only money. You should be obsessed about improving humanity, improving the content of the earth. You should be concerned about solving strategic industrial problem. You should be concerned about how can my brand solve a problem? How can I disrupt the market? How can this help to be able to make life easier for humanity?
That's wonderful. Because what I was just thinking, I was thinking the fact that most people, or sometimes the new goal of today's world is how to make money instantly. How everybody are driven with the fact of how to make money one way or the other. And with that, there are sometimes you forget yourself. You forget what you really want to start for. You may twitch a little bit and the money start coming. But when you're getting the money, it seems like you're losing yourself. But how do you now balance it? What I mean is that I venture into something, for example. I venture into this, and at the first beginning, I'm not making money. The money is not coming out, and this is what I feel like I'm called to do, but I'm not making money. Then I did a little twitch there and little twitch there, and the money start coming. But in line with that, my value diminish. My value, my self-essence diminish. How can I still get that balance?
Okay, basically, the principle of realignment is very key.
Yeah.
The chances for you to derail in business in every industry is over average for everyone. If you an archbishop start business, the chances for him to derail in his attempt to achieve his goal is over average, because the principle that drives the Babylonian system, the cosmos, the cycle system, is not equal with the kingdom.
So should I leave?
So what you do, you have to realign, and we should be able to be honest enough. That's why I always encourage believers that are into business to also take a retreat. Once in a while, just pause, go on a retreat, check out where have you missed it, where are you going beyond boundary. Because as bad as it, in as much as I said that money usually shouldn't be the only motivation.
Yeah.
Money also is one of the physical indication that we are productive. So you must understand that once in a while, periodically pause, take a break, go on a retreat, check out where have you missed it. Ask yourself question. Always try to weigh your success on the scale of eternity. Always try to weigh your success, your result on the scale of eternity. How can you be rewarded today, tomorrow? Not by men, but by God.
Yeah.
How can God see through you? How can people having a encounter with your product and with your brand, how can they get to encounter the love of God, the unconditional love of God? So periodically, when you don't go on a retreat, you will fall and you will fall very far. You will go very far. Why? Because you are not going on a retreat. So retreat help you to retrack your values within the context of Bible. In what way have you derailed? In what way have you drifted? In what way are you compromising? So you must learn to be sincere enough. You can do business God's way and still be very wealthy. We can do business God's way and still be very, very successful.
How do you mean?
What I mean is that we can play the game with the principle, like the Bible can influence, we can allow the word of God to influence our activities, our creed, our mindset, our philosophy, our ethics, and still be very productive in making money. So we must learn to be able to strike balance. Now, the problem with most Christians, we have people that belong to two extremes. The ones that were too obsessed about the Bible and giving wrong interpretation to certain biblical truth. And when you give wrong interpretation to the best of truth or revelation in the Bible, it will affect the application. It will affect the application. So we have believers that in their attempt to be able to appropriate the culture, the revelation of holiness, righteousness, and eternity, will fail to understand that what should be given to Caesar should be given to Caesar. There are principles that the secular world demands from us. So there are other believers that the other set of extremists that in their attempt to give to Caesar, what belongs to Caesar, they become part of Caesar's system. So you must strike a balance. So you must understand when to be able to understand how that when certain business opportunity comes to fight against your faith and your belief, and learn how to be able to discern or decipher that and be able to learn to be able to resist the temptation. And the temptation for you to compromise will always happen at strategic junction in your business life. You must learn to insist to do business the way God, the Bible recommends. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had the opportunity to bow down to Babylon, but they never bowed down. But the Bible record how that they were able to achieve so much with that very principle of never compromising to darkness.
So for someone that is always surrounded by all of this, how can they still get themselves out? For someone that is constantly surrounded with all the whole negative things, permit me to use the word, how can they now get themselves out so that they can still stand firm on what they believe?
Okay, you see, isolation is one of the devil's greatest strategy. Sometimes you can be successful in an industry in isolation from certain strategic kingdom networking of friends. It's just a matter of time. It's easier for a man that has a network of friends to be able to withstand certain temptation than the one that is gifted, successful, but doesn't have a company of believers that are able to stand by him. Ask yourself, why did Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel work together?
Three.
They were four of them. They came together. They were strategic. Every attack the enemy attacked one. It was easier for the other one to overcome because he had friends that they were accountable to. In fact, Daniel was the one that God used to open the door, but his brothers were behind the scenes standing and praying for him. So most times success, there's a song that says "Lonely at the Top." In your attempt to achieve success, you get so isolated from people. The devil's greatest strategy is the principle of isolation, where that the enemy, and you attempt to be able to run away from hurt, disappointment, betrayal, unrealistic demand, entitlement from friends and family. You run and disconnect yourself from kingdom relationship that would have helped you to be able to overcome certain attack. So you must understand that no matter how wrong everyone is, you must identify your circle, your productive circle, that have the same mindset. They may not be perfect all together as one, but you have certain values in common, certain kingdom-minded mindset, certain discipline, certain consecration. And when you have those people, you must understand that it's easier for you to resist every temptation that happens to you when you have these people. So that even when you want to fall, by the reason of you hanging in that circle, it helps you to be able to stand. And you should be able to have somebody you are accountable to. I have friends I'm accountable to. No matter the decision I want to take, no matter how I feel is right or wrong, that regards my character, my value, my mindset, the kingdom, I try to get perspective from my friends. And on some questions, most of the time, they give me critical perspective to that decision taking. And sometimes it's easier for me to even resist certain temptation by the reason of them hanging around because I'm accountable to them. Even without them asking. Me, even the thought of me, the decision I take coming to their table, to their ears, it's enough reason for me to behave myself and everything.
Yeah,
so that's just...
I like the fact that you said accountability. And this is, you see, accountability is one of the strongest challenge that we face right now, especially for Christians. How can Christians build accountability within themselves? Because sometimes you feel like I'm going to be judged by what I'm doing or what I know. How can they get those circle of accountability partners that can resonate with what they believe in?
Okay, see, that's a very big question. You must understand that being accountable, you can't just stand up now and just be accountable to everybody. Not everybody has the maturity, the intelligence to be able to have access to certain information about you. There are people, I've seen believers where they had somebody confided on them or something or try to account. The next thing they publish it. I know it takes only a man that understands God for him to find it easy to open up to such people. You must understand. So the Bible says iron sharpens iron, so does a fire sharpens. So what I do as a matter of personal principle, when I want to be accountable, I'll try to, okay, in what way as a person, a Christian, be accountable to me? I can't be only accountable to someone that has never been accountable to me. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
So sometimes I try to, first of all, trust them with little ideas, little counsel, and I try to see their behavior, their pattern of behavior, their actions and reaction, their disposition, their counsel. Then that would determine if tomorrow I would tell them another one. There are people that the slightest information you give them, in fact, tomorrow they will even look at you as this person look at, from the way they look at you, is enough reason for you not to be accountable to such people. So anybody that you must account to must be mature, must not be a parrot. There are people that you drop, you tell them certain things, you just go on tweet, on X or Facebook, they have already tweeted it. They will just bring a very powerful quote. And you know that you are the ones they are talking about. So being accountable is two-way thing. It's not just one-sided. You must learn to be accountable to people that are accountable to you. And you must, and anyone that find it very difficult to be able to be accountable to you, is going to be almost impossible for you to be accountable to such person. So that is my belief.
Okay. Now, lastly, I want to find out something. For someone that is growing, is just starting, you're building a business. Now, looking back, how were you able to picture those values that surround you within your own business to venture into anything you want to go? How were you able to come to the realization of the value that you want to obtain and say, this is what I want as a person, and this is what I want it inside of my business?
Okay. In the words of Solomon, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. 90% of whatsoever value that you have has been imbibed by someone else. So what I do is that I look at for mentors. You can have a value that would not be productive. There are people that are very unteachable, very arrogant, very spiritual, very, very, they are not open, they are not flexible. You know, you must understand that every value I've ever had that influenced every success I've had in life, I'd identify a mentor that also have the same value. And I've seen how that value in his life or in her life influence is or a result over the year. So me observing the person that have the same value influencing this and that result in his life give me a clue of my future. I've seen Christians that are very arrogant, very unteachable. What they think is right is what is right. What they think is wrong is what is wrong. And they don't have any tangible, any substantial result to be able to validate that values. So there is no value, there's nothing new under the sun. Every value that you have, that you will have in the future, there are people that have demystified that reality, that have appropriated it. So look at their life, look at their result. It gives you a clue of the future, if you are consistent in those values, how that is going to help you to be able to determine the work on the future. Then you must understand that having a divergent approach to business also comes with its own arrogance. You feel that you are the only one that has this brand in the market. Nobody can tell you. There's no mentor. So if mentor are talking, people have had some of my prodigy came to me and they give me, and I give them perspective. As I was talking, I knew they have made up their mind on what they want to do. Am I catching what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's basically, you must understand that you must be flexible enough to understand that any value you have, and if who are the people you've seen around, friends or family or mentors, it may not be someone that is very close to you. Look at people from afar, you see a similarity of values.
Yeah.
You see a similarity of mindset, of ideology, of psychologies, of philosophy. So it's not okay, well, if this person can have this, then I think if I'm able to be very consistent and disciplined,
Yeah.
I'll be able, it's just a matter of time. Because I say discipline is everything. You must understand that. The enemy, the devil, is not scared of your brand. He's scared of your discipline and your consistency. Because you know that is with a discipline principle and values, it's just a matter of when things will fall into place.
Yeah.
So that's just my basic principle.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think that was really, if I'm to get anything from what you said, if I'm to take anything right now, it's all about surrounding yourself with people that matters, especially them having what matter most to you. And whatever you're doing or whatever you want to do, just know that someone else have done it. And if someone else have done that, look out for those people doing what you want to do and learn from them. Learn from them. It could be from afar or it could be from there. Because sometimes, I'll use myself as personal experience. Some of us really did not have people in our midst, like a role model, growing up. So how can we now look out for people that have those our value, even though they are not in our circle?
Okay, the question?
Yes.
Okay, the answer to that is basically artificial intelligence has so much depreciate the cost of knowledge. That's hardly what you want to know now. That with a little prompt on AI, you will not learn.
Yeah.
That number one. I learn faster by observation. I learn faster by observation. All I need to do is to identify people. I must not be close to you. I may be following your podcast for like 2 years on YouTube. There are people that their business ethics are so much influenced my life. Their resilience have influenced I've never met them. So every time I watch their this thing, when I listen to them talk, I just see mindset. I see values. I know when I listen to them, So as I said, artificial intelligence have diminished or reduced the cost of knowledge. 15 years ago, there are certain things that you want to learn that you have to pay for, certain knowledge.
Yeah.
But now AI has made a lot of things easy. Every week I wake up, I have things I learn. All I need to do is to be able to drop a prompt. From when I learn them and I discover the principle and value that influences certain result, I try to identify who are the people that have. Then you mustn't be close. In fact, sometimes 80% of the people that come too close to people they should be learning from eventually get carried away by being familiar. Familiarity is the greatest challenge of proximity or learning by proximity when you get too close to mentors. So I try to avoid that. So I'm very fast. 80% of most of what I'm doing now are things I learned by observation. I will just observe, then try to understand my originality, my uniqueness, understand context, bring it within context. Then number one, then I try to start applying it. Then number two, I surround myself with productive circles. There are 5 of my friends that anytime I think of them, in fact, one of them, I finished having a conversation last week. I couldn't sleep for 8 hours that night.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
I was challenged with the perspective. With the perspective, I was challenged. And the mindset. And how strategic is work is in a nation. When I sit down and look at so these are basically, so I don't surround yourself. The more successful you become, and also the reason why, as people become more successful, they isolate themselves from unsuccessful people. because the mindset is not the same.
Not the same.
The energy is not the same.
And it's not an intentional something.
It's not. It's going to be safer because people you are coming closer to them to influence them are competing, are thinking competition. You are thinking impacting them. They are thinking competition. They are thinking envy begin to come, unnecessary comparison begin to come, and everything. So I discovered that unrealistic entitlement begin to come in.
Yeah.
Whether you attempt to be able to give this, to support this, they become so entitled. And when you fail to perform based on their expectation.
Yeah.
So I learned to make it a principle to spend quality time with productive circles. As little as taking coffee with someone, as long as I know that that conversation is going to spark something in me, I spend more time. And when I listen to them, I check out the consistency of their result, the pattern of their result.
Yeah.
Because you cannot tell me you know so much and it does not reflected in your result.
So those, when you have those conversations, what does it really do to you?
It challenges me. Last time, let me share this experience. Last time a friend of mine flew in from outside the country and came into a conference in a very reputable, I don't want to mention the name, reputable person. So we were having a conversation in Lagos. I booked for me to book my flight and go to have a conversation in Lagos and come back the next day to tell you how important that, just conversation.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. I booked my flight from Abuja, go to Lagos, pay for an hotel. I don't want to tell you the amount of money. Pay for that, have a conversation. And in one of the conversations, he was sharing how his brother used AI to develop a course on AI. And he developed the course and researched it very well and used AI to interpret the course into over 20 languages. Then he used AI to create an avatar version of his face. His voice, they clone his face and clone his voice. Then he produced the course in over 20 languages in the space of 5 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He got $1.4 million from one course. And I discovered that we in Nigeria were very hardworking, but we're not smart. I discovered that they are smarter. So when I came back home, that conversation disrupted my sleep pattern for 3 weeks. Not out of competition, but I realized that the Bible says to whom much is given, much is expected. I know I was sleeping on a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of work without collaborating with AI. And in the space of 3 months, my life changed. My life changed. So I hang around productive circle. I don't hang around conversation that were always based on material things, money, people, gossiping people, and talking about what can be done. I don't expose myself.
That's a deep one. The realization that we Christian has been we have been sleeping on a lot of things is really, really profound. Serious. So final thoughts, Mr. Nasser. If a youth entrepreneur, for example, feels lost, how can they rediscover identity and anchor their business around it?
Number one, get a mentor.
Why do people always
Now, mentorship is very powerful. I believe that mentorship is one of the fastest shortcuts to success. Because the mistakes we are making now, your mentor had the experience. 90% of the mistakes that you ever encounter as an entrepreneur has been encountered by your mentor. A 30-minute session with your mentor will save you a fortune of foolish ideas, foolish decisions. You must understand, get a mentor, especially a mentor that is very disruptive, that has this very divergent approach to life. One mentor cannot cultivate or develop every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
One mentor, I have none less than 5 mentors. Each of them have 5 different assignments in my life. One of them inspires me when it comes to disruptive innovation. One of them challenges me when it comes to the place of financial intelligence. The other one challenges my mediocrity in leadership. The other one challenges my public public speech, or my oratory.
Yeah.
I have to learn that from him. When listening to him talk, it helps me to be able to learn comportment.
Yeah.
Then one of them again challenges my goal setting ability. You get me? So you must have Mentors, you must listen to them. You must listen to them very well that guide you. It can be mentorship by proxy. And most of my mentors that challenge my mediocrity are not even in Nigeria. Then I also understand that you are knowledge away or an information away from taking a very foolish decision. We don't read. Our reading culture are so declined in significant percentage. A book can save you from a very foolish 10 years decision. One book can save you. We don't read. And even if we decide to read, we read books only written by our pastors. And our pastors, I don't know what it means to run a brand. Are you catching me? So pastor, there's a limit to what you hear from your pastors, no matter how deep it sounds. Most of the entrepreneurs that have so challenged me are not Christians. But you cannot deny the fact that almost significant level of some of the principles that influence their result were scriptural based. That even them themselves don't know that. So a mentor saves you. It saves you time. It saves you resources.
Yeah.
You know, somebody came and told me that she want to come and do. I look at them and say, "Are you kidding me?" And without even being a prophet, I can tell what the future will be from now. So you must get a mentor that guide you. And I've spent quite a number. I have a lot of students in the US. I have a lot of students in Nigeria. In fact, good number of my students in the US, there's more than are PhD holders. So, and because I spent a lot of time to do a lot of research, and I discovered, I've seen how somebody was taking a decision one day in California, and when I advised him on that, he was actually going into the film industry, and I recommended a website for him, and he came and he shouted. He never knew that this place exists in the US
At all.
So mentorship helps to shorten it minimizes your mistakes. No matter what you know, mentor will give you perspective. You must understand people that will challenge your mediocrity, people that will see into the potential that you're not seeing in yourself. The first thing I do when I'm mentoring people, I try to look at what is the potential in them that I have not seen.
Or they themselves have not.
I'm not seeing that I've not known. 70% of my students don't know they have a capacity to do certain things. All I need to know is to be able to maximize and to activate that and to challenge and to give them tasks. And in short matter of time, they pick up. So you must understand how to be able to get a good mentor. Don't go and get a mentor that is not versatile, that doesn't know what is happening in Cameroon here. Let us know what is happening in the US or in Canada. You must understand that perspective is everything. And mentorship gives you broader perspective to life and to business.
Thank you so much. That was really helpful. And the same thing that you mentioned is the same thing we've interviewed over going to five persons, and each person says the same thing. Getting a mentor is crucial in today's world, because sometimes you feel like you know it all, and because of the new era we are, because of AI, we feel like we don't need other people. I can just do a prompt. Yeah, true. But AI, I feel personally that AI cannot replace the presence of physical experience. AI can't feel, can't touch, can't smell. And getting the perspective of someone, a physical person, be it long distance, like you said, or short distance, as a mentor, makes a whole lot of difference. That is my own belief. And you just said it all for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.